Triumph of the Will is renowned as the most epic work of documentary filmmaking ever created. Praised during its time, it is perceived today as the film that created the Third Reich and is forever linked to its creator, Leni Riefenstahl. Despite Riefenstahl's most recent claims of her film's intent to paint the beauty of her nation, she ended up taking a stand for evil. She supported and created what she believed to be a movement of newness and prosperity, but proved to be a movement of hate, a movement of intolerance, and a movement of violence that created the largest genocide that history has ever known.
Leni Riefenstahl was born into an upper-middle-class family in Berlin in 1902. When she was a teenager, her mother encouraged her to start dancing. Her style of dance, Ostzukanz, was associated with rising fascism and began her interest in the Nazi Party. Upon catching a glimpse of a promotional poster for the 1924 film, The Mountain of Destiny, Riefenstahl was inspired to move into acting. Between 1925 and 1929, she starred in 5 successful motion pictures. She shifted her interests to something she grew to love even more: film. She began attending film shows and visiting the cinema to see films regularly. In 1932, Riefenstahl decided to direct her own film called The Blue Light. The film gained the attention of Adolf Hitler, the head of the Nazi Party. Hitler recognized Leni as a model German citizen. Leni viewed Hitler under a similar light. Upon hearing him at a rally in 1932, she was mesmerized by his talent as a public speaker. Describing the experience in a later memoir, Riefenstahl wrote, "I had an almost apocalyptic vision that I was never able to forget. It seemed as if the Earth's surface were spreading out in front of me, like a hemisphere that suddenly splits apart in the middle, spewing out an enormous jet of water, so powerful that it touched the sky and shook the earth."
Hitler soon commissioned Riefenstahl to create a documentary regarding the Fifth Party Congress, a Nazi rally that glorified the party's seizure of power from the Weimar Republic, which was the government created by the Allied powers after World War I. The German people blamed the Weimar Republic for the Depression, and heavily resented the German government as a result. Her film, titled The Victory of Faith, began her career as a propaganda film artist under the Nazi Party. While about 300,000 people attended her rally, her film was distributed throughout Germany, shown to millions of people.
Distribution is the mechanism that gets content out into the marketplace. The importance of distribution is it's an essential component to any content company that is looking to get its content shown. So without distribution, you don't have any mechanism for people to consume your movie. Whatever your method of getting your content to people are, distribution is the only way to do it. If we didn't distribute a movie to the right locations, we could miss our target audience. We could miss our best window of opportunity to exploit it in the marketplace. So certainly if we didn't choose the right location, we definitely could miss our opportunity.
And the strength of the Nazi Party was convincing the populace that this is what's good for them. So I mean that they very well could have not come to power or been as successful as they were without the propaganda films.
The Victory of Faith is one of the main factors accredited with bolstering support for the Nazi Party.
Because Germany experienced a depression during this time, poverty was rampant throughout the nation. People were desperate for a change in government that promised them economic prosperity and a greater quality of life. They clung on to the appeals of nationalism conveyed through Leni's films. Her films persuaded the German people to believe in Hitler's promise of a revived and glorious nation under Nazi Germany. This wide-range support prompted Hitler to commission Leni to make more films.
After the success of her first film, Hitler commissioned her to create another documentary highlighting the greatness of Germany under the Nazi Party. Her new film, Triumph of the Will, documented the events of the 1934 Nuremberg Rally. Triumph of the Will took the art of filmmaking to a new level due to Riefenstahl's employment of advanced and innovative cinematic techniques. Leni's film begins with Hitler flying through the clouds over a new Germany, illustrated as a god emerging from the heavens. Her use of dramatic lighting and unique angles portrays Hitler and the Nazi Party as a government larger and more powerful than they truly were. Her film was distributed throughout Germany, solidifying the Nazi Party as the entity that would bring prosperity to the German people.
Riefenstahl took a stand against the Weimar Republic, the unsatisfactory government that Germany held at the time. She utilized the media's power to create a new image of what Germany could become under a new government. Despite her intentions of taking a stand for the betterment of Germany, she took a stand for the worst. She took a stand not for the progress and prosperity of her nation, but for its degradation and for its demise.
Her film facilitated the rise of one of the worst governments in history. She took a stand for the right idea, but for the wrong cause. After the war, Riefenstahl was arrested, but classified as being a quote-unquote fellow traveler, or Nazi sympathizer, and was not associated with war crimes. Riefenstahl attempted to preserve her image until her last days, denying her involvement in the rise of Nazi Germany. Nazi soldiers, on the other hand, were sentenced to Nuremberg trials and other forms of prosecution. Riefenstahl went on to create more films and prosper in her career, even though she facilitated the Holocaust far more than any other Nazi.
She took a stand. It just was a hateful and wrong stand. But yeah, she took a stand for what she believed in. It just happened to be horrible.